how should we take that, right? Because that really opens up a possibility of a dangerous kind of quietism, right? The idea of just either not doing anything when something what we might call really bad is happening. So, for example, if certain people are being oppressed or tortured or just harmed in some other kind of way, right? We might say, well, look, clearly harm is bad, and so we don't want that. And so we ought to do something about that. So is Zhuangzi really saying, look, no, just step back, just go along. If some dictator oppresses some people, that's just how it is. Go by the rightness of that present situation. Well, damn, shouldn't we resist that, right? Just like, for example, when women in the United States couldn't vote, um, should should the women's suffrage movement not have happened, right? At one point in time, a good number of people thought it was bad for women to vote. And then that, of course, changed. So, is it really all the same? Is it really like chestnuts, right? Seven chestnuts either way? I mean, is it really all the same whether women vote or don't vote? That's surely absurd. Surely, right? So how do we deal with that? And I'm not sure. And sometimes with Zhuangzi, sometimes it really does seem like we should just, in some sense, throw our hands up and go with the flow in this really radical kind of way. But I have a hard time with that. And so the way I've grappled with it is along the lines of the something you find actually in the context of Christianity. But the idea is applicable not just to Christianity; it's applicable to Taoism, to Buddhism, and other places as well. Stoicism, for example. But what I'm referring to is the wonderful and short Serenity Prayer, right? Which I hope most of you are familiar with. But the Serenity Prayer was written, I think, in the 1800s originally. It's very simple, right? So, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference, right? So, again, serenity is a certain sort of peaceful calmness, right? And certainly is in line with the Zhuangzian goal of harmony. And so I think is very potentially applicable to Zhuangzi here, right? So grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, right? So there are things we can't change, things we can't stop, right? You can't change individually, right? And it's difficult communally, right? We can't change what's going on with the coronavirus, right? You just can't. And so that has to be accepted. And in accepting that, you achieve a certain sort of peace, certain sort of harmony, serenity, right? But then at the same time, we need to have courage to change the things we can, right? So we need to, if we can change something, right? So if, for example, you come across somebody assaulting somebody else and beating them or something like that, well, maybe you can do something about that, right? And you should, right? Don't just throw your hands up and be like, well, this is what's happening. And Zhuangzi says, just go with the flow. This is what, this is right for what's going on now. So I'm just going to go with it. But no, do something, right? And then this last line, right? The wisdom to know the difference is really key. And that's why I think it's super hard here, right? To be a sage and to be wise, right? To know, well, when the hell should I exhibit courage to try to make a change? And when should I sit back? And so I want to encourage you to try to look deeply into what's going on with the Serenity Prayer and try to reconcile it with your reading of the Zhuangzi. So when you're reading the Zhuangzi, try to figure out, well, can we make sense of this way of doing things? Is this maybe one way of thinking about this phrase here, walking two roads, right? That's not exactly what's meant in Zhuangzi, but in some way, right, we can think of the Serenity Prayer as walking two roads. One road of accepting things as how they are. Can't change them. If I try, I'm going to be making myself miserable. And two, on the other hand, right, there are times when we can make a difference, make changes. And so wisdom, right, deep understanding of things is what's needed to actually know when we should be doing which. Okay, this is a super important issue here, right? Because I think that while the Zhuangzi does give us an interesting sort of map for how to try to wander far and unfettered, there really is a potential danger here, right, of collapsing into this, what I'm calling, and others call, quietism, this inaction, this sitting back and not trying to impose one's will at all on the world, right? But there's a difference, right? We can, between these two things, between the following two things, there's a difference between saying, okay, I'm giving up all desires. I'm not going to desire anything. I'm not going to try to affect anything. I'm not going to try to bring anything about at all. And only thereby can I wander far and unfettered. That's one way of looking at things. Another way, though, is say, no, I can have desires. I can have goals. I can try to make changes and bring about differences in the world, right? Try to affect ends. Yet I understand that there will be times when I have to let go of those desires, let go of those ends, either because they become untenable, they can't be done, they can't be achieved, or my own views on them have changed, or the rightness, so to speak, of those goals, ends, desires has changed. Okay, difficult stuff, y'all. I really understand how difficult this stuff is. So I just want to encourage you to do your damn best, and work this stuff out best you can, y'all. And I'm here, and let me know how I can help. Okay, take care, everyone, and until next time.